GreenRoc Strategic Materials is focused on the development of critical mineral projects in Greenland. It's published its full year 24 results, and Chief Executive Stefan Bernstein joins us to talk about them and the outlook for the business. So, Stefan, you've released your full year results for 2024. Did you achieve what you hoped you would in that 12-month period?
We achieved a lot, not all of what I have hoped for, of course. Today, I would have hoped that our pilot processing plant was running and also that we have a rig turning at Amitsoq. But making capital is still one of the things that I'm working very hard on and is one of the major tasks that I'm undertaking. Having said that, I think that with the amount that we have been able to raise, I think we have accomplished a lot.
Well, you are, of course, still in the development stage and therefore not making any money yet. But as you said, you have been successful in raising funds and attracting government and institutional interest during that financial period and since then. So who are the key supporters and why are they wanting to be involved, Stefan?
So, of course, we have investors. They are in here, of course, with GreenRoc to make a profit. And we are, as I said, working really hard to make that happen. And I'm also quite confident that we will succeed in that. Then we have other stakeholders. Obviously, there are governments that are really interested in what we're doing, particularly as they see it as a way to gain more resource independence and also simply to diversify the supply of critical raw materials and therefore in turn secure production of not only electric vehicles, items that contribute to the energy transition, but also in defense industries and so forth.
In fact, you've been having a lot of interest because a year ago you received a letter of interest from the Export-Import Bank of the United States for the financing of up to $3.5 million of US export contracts relating to goods and services ordered by the company. But of course, so much has happened in the world since then. Will you be impacted by tariffs or are you immune due to America's charm offensive on Greenland?
Right. So, I mean, first of all, I would say with the EXIM letter of interest, we've been working with them for a while now. That is something that is probably more applicable to the later stages of our development plans here. With regard to the U.S. and Greenland, well, I mean, we're located centrally in the North Atlantic, so we have many options, and you can say degrees of freedom to choose or address the market that which is best for us.
In fact, you do have many options because at the same time you've been having many conversations, including those with General Motors. You've visited graphite processing plants in China. You talk tomorrow in Norway about supplying its lithium-ion gigabyte factory. There's potential funding from Denmark. So with the talk of trade wars, is it deliberate that you have eggs in many geographical baskets?
Yeah, right. I mean, I think from our perspective, access to capital is the key to develop the Amitsoq project. And there's no one way that leads there. And therefore, we are working on all opportunities that open for us. And that just happens to place us in a position where we're not tied ourselves to any one place and are therefore open to business in various contexts.
So obviously no product is being extracted commercially at the moment. So where are you with regards plans for extraction?
We are now working towards providing data for the pre-feasibility study for Amitsoq. That includes a bit of geotechnical drilling, collecting a larger bulk sample, which we are hopeful that we can accomplish this year, and therefore we can enter the PFS in early 26. And then with a DFS following right after that, we are hopeful that we can be in construction by 27 and opening the mine in 29. And in parallel with this, we're also developing the processing plant. Next step for us would be, as I said, collecting a 2040 ton bulk sample in order for us to do some metallurgical testing, but also to provide us with graphite concentrate for further test work to produce active anode material.
And Stefan, how confident are you about securing an exploitation license for the Amitsoq graphite mine? Are you talking to local communities also ahead of the public consultation later this year?
So I'm quite confident. We have a lot of support from the Greenland government, and we have a lot of support from local people in Amitsoq and also in South Greenland commune. We are speaking to people locally, of course. We've done that over the years and keeping them informed about the progress that we have. There's no specific contact being made prior to the pre-consultation. I think that would probably not be appropriate. It is in process now.
So one element of that confidence is that you've already reserved 100,000 square metres in a materials park in Norway. I'm just wondering, how long will the park owners keep that reservation open for your planned plant?
Yes, it was important for us when we identified that ground in southern Norway to make sure that we will actually be able to also set our processing plant there, even though we do realize it's a bit of time ahead of us. But we have been talking to the landholders there, and they are willing to extend the letter of interest, the reservation of ground for us. So that's good for another half year. And I'm sure we can negotiate a further extension of that. Of course, there are other interests in the area, but there are no immediate plans for building other things.
So you say that the time ahead of us. So how are you future-proofing the business?
Right. So when we establish ourselves to be a key supplier of graphite material for Europe, maybe even for North America, then obviously the requirements, the demands may be so of a magnitude that our present plant production cannot fulfill. But it's actually possible for us to extend the production further. Around Amitsoq, there are several other deposits that are presently undrilled, not tested. All we know of them is that they are also very high grade, typically between 15 or 30, up to 30% graphite. We have all of those mineralizations and showings under our license. So the Nanortalik graphite district is open for us, and we could potentially expand the production.
Do you know, I think that you've overachieved in full year 2024. It's been very difficult for me to pinpoint areas to talk to you about, but I will end on ESG, and the first ESG assessment of your proposed Amitsoq mine was awarded a BB rating, which makes you neither a laggard or a leader in ESG. So how can you improve the rating?
Yeah, first of all, I would say that for us, this first assessment, considering the stage of development we are at, I think it's a pretty good score. There's a lot of information that is still not available really for us because we are at a relatively early stage in development of the Amitsoq project. But I think there are two important things from here. One is that the Digby ESG assessment helps us identify points where we can improve. And then secondly, with this ESG certification, GreenRoc is now in a very small and exclusive group of responsible minerals companies that are therefore safe for investments from large institutional investors such as pension funds.
And one additional question, Stefan, please. How will full year 2025 be defined when you and I are talking in a year's time?
At that point of time, we have produced our first graphite active anode material from a pilot processing plant here, produced using graphite concentrate that we have extracted from the historic mine in Greenland underground, 20 up to 40 tons of graphite ore, having that processed and deliver graphite concentrate. We will also be deeply engaged with the PFS, and we will have achieved our exploitation license in Greenland. And I would also hope that we are now ranking as one of the credible producers of graphite for the European industry, as we will at that point become or have been designated a strategic project under the EU.
Another very busy 12 months ahead. Stefan Bernstein, the Chief Executive of GreenRoc Strategic Materials, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you, Sarah.